Hello, my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. I was asked to talk about erythematous. Now, erythematous, what the heck is that? I had to look it up because I know what is erythema, rash. Well, erythematous is somebody invented like rash in general, that now you have to classify according to where it is happening on the body, how it looks, if it's just a skin redness, if it is bumpy skin redness, it is a localized redness. And of course, through this we have a classification of erythema, of skin rash. Now, when people ask question about this, they are actually asking about redness, skin redness, why skin becomes red. Now we know it's because there is more blood in the area. And also depends, skin has 3 layers. Dermis, which is the middle part, and then you have hypodermis, epidermis, which is the top layer of skin. Now, it's strange. This morning I woke up, I can barely open my eyes, I'm so tired. Schumann frequency is flying, and I have no idea what I was doing at night. So I'm a little slow, but I would like to address this issue. You will notice that redness of the skin could be just, like mild redness, could be dark redness, could be redness that is like red around here and then goes darker as you go towards the neck. Could be also around armpits, that is brighter red on the outside, but as you go more into closer to the center of the armpit, it becomes dark. All those are tells. They, classify this in variety of names, which, if you are interested in names, go on the site on internet. Any site that talks about erythema is going to be showing you all the different types and names of them, which again is completely unimportant. It is not unimportant for allopathic or medicine or even alternative medicine, because both of them use the same science. They are just trying to come up with different types of cures, not healing, cures. Why? Because healing means eliminating of the cause, and cures are playing with symptoms. So you leave the cause in the body and you just play with the symptom. You try to suppress it. And alternative medicine does it as well as the allopathic medicine. One is using pharmaceutical poisons, the other one is using plant poisons, but either way, you are just basically suppressing the symptom. The base of all of these skin rashes is increased blood flow. Now, what causes increased blood flow? Skin, purpose of skin is to make a barrier to protect us from the outside element, but also skin is used to control the body temperature, and also it is used to eliminate stuff and absorb stuff. So it's a multifunctional organ, and it's a large organ. And the vascularization, which means the amount of blood vessels in the skin, varies depending on the part of the body. In some areas it's more concentrated, in some area it's less concentrated. You can cut yourself on a shoulder a little bit or on the arm. Well, little blood comes out and that's it. Well, you cut yourself on your skull a little bit, pop, or here. Wow, you're gonna bleed like a pig. Why? Because it's way more blood vessels going through the scalp than through, let's say, skin of the scalp, than skin of the arm or leg. So why is that? Because brain has to be pampered. The temperature has to be kept always in check. And this is done through blood flow, because liquid, through induction, it is going to be absorbing the heat and taking it away, or basically has to, if it's of too much heat, it is going to shoot through the skin, so it is going to increase the blood flow in the skin, so the blood can be cooled down. This is why you go into hot area, steam room, you turn red, because your body is trying to, you're heating up, and then the body is trying to get rid of the excessive heat, so increases the blood flow in your skin. And then through induction or evaporation, the body cools down. It cools down the blood. So the blood goes back, warms up, and goes back to the skin to cool off. Then goes back in, warms up, and to the skin, cool off. So this is the heat exchange. The central heating system in the houses used to be run on water, hot water, or steam, but mostly hot water. So hot water comes into radiator, heat dissipates. As water cools down, it goes down. Cooler water is denser, is heavier, drops down, and then gets heated up by heater, and is hot. And radiator is like a skin. It disperses the heat and keeps the room hot, but in this case, blood keeps the body cool by going through the skin and being cooled off. So of course, if you are exposed to hot area, you are going to be affected. The skin is going to be redder because more blood circulation. Now, what happens when you are in a cold? well, then body tries to maintain its heat. And if you are being cooled down too much from the outside, then even the blood flow is being diminished, because you cannot cool blood too much, because the body needs the heat. So the blood flow to the periphery, to the skin, is restricted. And this is why the skin becomes pale. So this is one reason of a redness. Now, in this case, we would not call it erythema. We just call it, oh, you're hot, you're red. It's an increased blood flow. But what happens if there is no temperature problem and you are red? So you can be red on skin of the whole body. I've seen it on babies, red like a lobster, and swollen. Or you can be red in parts of the body. Why? Again, it could be a problem with local heat, but not likely, because what is happening is that why would you have increased blood circulation, let's say, only in one little area? Well, it makes no sense that heat has a problem, that this is a problem of the heat. If you follow my work, you understand that the body is dealing with toxicity. Now, toxicity, very often you cannot find it. You check the blood and you don't see any toxin. Why? Because always refer back to the understanding that our body is electronic robot, and as such it is and as such it is excuse me. Okay, my wife was a little bit too loud. I cannot afford the office. I don't have office, so I'm sorry for the sounds and disturbances. So toxin cannot be seen. Not some, yes, some not. Why? Because it's a frequency that is out of tune, and not every frequency is programmed to be has the frequency that is going to be sent through the sensor of light. So you will not see it. Many of these toxic frequencies are emotions. Emotion is not visible because the frequency of emotion does not contain frequency of light. So it is not going to be shown through your eyes through a particle of light, through photon of light, but it is going to be shown through other sensors, in this case emotional sensor. And these sensors have also different thoughts, different emotion, has different frequency, and some of those frequency could be very similar to frequency of a tissue in your body. Particular areas, every area has different frequency. Always when you think of your body, think about frequency and about robot. Don't look at it as a integral being the way we see ourselves in the mirror. This is gimmick. We make ourselves and reality to see in particular way as we are programmed to do. But actually, we are robots. We are artificial intelligence. that actually runs the robot. Artificial, not artificial, that we can discuss separately, but it is basically your body is a robot. So when you have toxins in a body, they basically do not cause anything else than what their program is programmed to show you according to their frequency. So if you have toxic blood, then you have symptoms of toxic blood because blood has to be kept clean. If not, it is going to be affecting different areas. Why? Because toxicity, toxic material is out of sync frequency and serves as an electric resistor. So more toxins you have in the blood, they may not be strong toxins to affect you hardly, but if your blood is polluted with these toxins, then energy has problem to flow. And then your organs are being affected because we run on electricity. So if you have too many resistors, the electricity doesn't flow well, parts of your body may receive inadequate level of electricity and they malfunction. The typical symptom of this is tiredness. Okay, you feel tired all the time. Chronic fatigue syndrome is nothing more than toxic blood. And when you have blood toxic, then you have toxic body because body is supposed to cleanse all the time. This is why we urinate, this is why we defecate, okay, and even sweat, have pimples. All this is body's way of taking toxins out. But you need plasma to do that. You cannot wash dishes without water. You cannot wash car without water. You cannot wash anything without water. So you cannot wash body without water. Unfortunately, body does not run on water because water is not electroconductive. So electricity will not flow. Has to be in state of plasma, electroconductive state, which is achieved by ionizing it through salt, through elements, ions. And if you watch my videos or read my articles, you know all this. So this is for those people that didn't see these videos or need to refresh a little bit. So when you have toxic blood because you cannot eliminate, well, blood still has to be cleansed as much as possible because you will have symptoms of toxic blood: headache, pain, blurred vision, you cannot concentrate, you are forgetful, you cannot sleep, and all the other symptoms of toxic blood. So body is programmed to stick as many toxins that it cannot eliminate in subcutaneous tissue underneath the skin. Why? Because the skin rotates. Okay, so from subcutaneous tissue, from the inner layer, if you store the toxin there, as the upper layer, the epiderm, as it flakes off, then the inner cells come up. And now skin is flaking. The more toxic you are, the more you are going to see flaking of the skin. Dandruff. Why you have more flaking skin on a scalp? Because more blood vessels, which means when your blood is toxic, more toxins will come there. And then they'll be released or stuck into that into the derma, into the tissue of the skin. And then as your skin flakes, the inner cells grow to the out and push the garbage, the toxin with it. And then you detoxify. The more toxic your skin is, the darker it becomes. Why? Because we know that dark area is low energy area, is toxic area. Blackheads, how come they are black? So, oh, dirt from outside. It's not true. It is concentrated toxin that is coming out of your body. When you are cooking, baking, you put, doesn't matter if you put red meat or fish on a stove, or if you put apple, as you heat them up, they all will start getting darker. They turn brown and then black. Brown is already not healthy, and black is straight out toxic. It's toxic frequency. So the more toxicity is in your skin, means in your body, as it's being pushed to the surface, your skin becomes darker. People that are on hemodialysis, that kidney does not work well, they are getting darker and darker skin because toxins are not eliminated. Now, why are they getting darker skin? It is not because kidneys don't work. It is because they are being deprived of salt, so the body is dehydrating more and more, and ultimately they are not even allowed to drink water more than maybe 1 glass a day. So they cannot cleanse anymore. Not through urine, not through defecation, not through sweating, because there is no available plasma to do this. So naturally, the toxin is being offloaded in subcutaneous tissue on inner layers of skin, and then is being pushed as the skin is flaking, is being pushed out, and your skin becomes darker and darker and darker because there are dark toxic elements in there. So now the question is, why somebody has rash, let's say, on a shoulder? Well, most of the time, when we are dealing with toxicity, and whenever you are having any kinds of rashes, any kind, you are talking about toxicity. For example, you are stabbed by mosquito, and you may have no reaction, maybe a little bump that itches, or you can have a little bigger bump, or you can have bigger and red bump, or you can have big red bump that goes red all around, and you have these big things from mosquitoes. So somebody has absolutely almost no reaction to it, and somebody gets almost an anaphylactic shock from a bite. How does that work? Well, it all depends how many toxins are in the skin, in any of the layers of the skin. Because when you get bit by mosquito or wasp, whatever, there always is some toxin pushed in there. Now, mosquito is not putting venom, but it is putting anticoagulant, which irritates you also and creates itchiness, because your body immediately recognizes this and starts to protect itself. How does it do it? By making local inflammation. Because by utilizing histamine, okay, and by utilizing vasopressin, it is constricting blood vessels, which means that through vein, it will not be absorbing well because it's constricted, and artery will build up back pressure and it will shoot out the blood basically in the same amount of blood, which now inflames the area. So it starts pushing things that are in towards outside of the body. This is how it works. But this, well, we call it inflammation. I call it forced hydration. But, and also this causes increased pressure on local sensory nerves, which produce itchiness, even pain if the pressure increases too much. Now, if your skin is not toxic, then you only have problem with the bite. So maybe each little bit, not a big deal. But since the blood flow increases here because of this histamine and vasopressin effect, if you have toxic skin, well, more blood is coming in here because it's being retained there, because it cannot go out as easily until the pressure builds up. So more blood you are going there, getting there, more toxins from a blood, but also you have the toxic tissue there already, which then causes additional inflammation because cells are trying to hydrate. A cell, to protect itself from a toxin, it has to be able to wash it off, separate it from its surface, from its membrane. It does it by secreting a little bit of plasma from the cell. Well, if the cell is dehydrated, it cannot do it. So now you have additional poison coming in with already poisonous tissue. Cells cannot hydrate because there are toxins there. So this emergency hydration through inflammation occurs. So more toxic is your skin, the bigger area it is going to be affected around the bite. Now, if you wear particular clothing and it rubs in one area more than other areas, well, the rubbing causes friction. Or if you have a habit of scratching yourself, okay, you are causing friction. Friction creates heat. Now, robot is programmed right away, let's get the heat down. So it increases blood flow to dissipate the heat. And if your skin is toxic and the cells are being affected with these toxins and more toxic blood comes in, again, there's a situation that forced hydration may be necessary to give cells a little bit of plasma so they can kind of squirt it out and wash these toxins off of the membranes. So again, if your skin is toxic and you are scratching yourself or rubbing in one area more than other areas, there is going to be increased blood flow, more toxicity coming in, more need for forced hydration, inflammation. So this depends how toxic is your skin, this type of a rash is you are going to have. If it is just from scratching and not much toxicity, well, you do this enough, you let it go, it's red. Okay, because body immediately relaxes blood vessels to cool down the area. So more blood gets there because blood vessels are relaxed. But if the rashes occur, even when you are not consciously touching yourself, but it's just that, well, something was there that was increasing the blood flow, and your blood is toxic, so this area is becoming more and more toxic, and later on, you don't even need to be touching yourself, but the thing or rubbing on something, the area is already very toxic, and it is going to start to show it through forced hydration. More inflammation comes there, and you have a problem with psoriasis. So this is what red skin means. Now, why do some people have red faces? You can look at someone and say, are you alcoholic? How do you know he's alcoholic? Because his nose is red. Or here, nose and this here gets red. Why? Why alcoholics do have this? Because when you drink alcohol often and doodle on it, well, you are exhaling also. So alcohol comes in your mouth. As you are exhaling through the nose, it goes out through the nose and it's irritating you constantly. And these are toxins. So they start getting trapped and go, and again, body gets them out through the skin. So the skin of the nose becomes affected before the cheeks. Dark eyes, toxic accumulation. You're rubbing the eyes, or this is mucosal membrane. Your eyes is mucosal tissue, highly absorptive. So yeah, a lot around chemicals. Well, through your mucosal tissue, through your eye, you are going to be absorbing them. Body wants to get rid of them. So the toxicity starts accumulating right here. They say, oh, it's kidney problem. Well, it could be kidney problem, but why here? So we have to think logically. Why majority people that have problem with erythema, with skin redness, I would not call it even inflammation because it's not always inflammation, but in most cases then becomes inflammatory problem. Why I would say most of these problems occur on face? Because number one, face is exposed always to sun more than any other part of your body, so direct heat. And we are being told, oh yeah, well, you can have a solar erythema, sun-induced. Well, it's a difference between sunburn and erythema. Although you get red skin when you get sunburn because too much heat, and body is trying to cool the skin off, so you turn red. And the cleaner is your skin, the easier and less symptoms you are going to have after you have been heated up by sun, because there are no toxins to eliminate. And as you cool down, redness disappears and sensitivity disappears also, because there's not much need for swelling. And you don't flake, you don't have bumps, you don't have blisters. More toxic is the skin, the bigger blisters you are going to have when you burn yourself with the sun. So all this is connected. And also, we have tendency, because we have been told, protect yourself, sun is dangerous, sun causes cancer. You gotta protect it. So people put these kakamakai creams on their face, so-called sunblocks. Those are pure poisons. Some of the poison is being absorbed, even though these creams mostly are based on mineral oil, which does not absorb in the body because it's not organic, what we call organic. It has different frequencies, so will not be absorbed. But still, there are chemicals in there that are supposedly protecting you from the UVs. Well, they affect your skin and they poison your skin. So then your body has the same reactions of inflammation to trying to hydrate those cells so they can protect themselves from these toxins. And women that use makeup, powder, the Johnson & Johnson baby powder is pure poison. And it's so fine that it can go through pores. So it can actually enter the blood and pollute your body, which it does. More makeup women wears, the worse skin becomes. So it looks great while it has makeup. You wash the makeup and it's a bumpy ride. Pores increase because robot is made to adjust to the environment. And when the skin does not receive enough oxygen and cannot properly sweat, cannot properly breathe, because it's being blocked by the stuff we put on the skin, then it is going to adapt by increasing the size of the pores. And once when the pores are bigger, the skin looks unattractive. It's bumpy. So then more makeup is needed to, more plaster, just plaster it. So it's smooth, which creates even more problems. Don't wear makeup. The only makeup my wives wear is lipstick. So I knew that is toxic. So the mystery of rashes is solved. Erythema multiforme. What a name, huh? Means nothing more than different types of erythemas on the same body. And then doctors will go, okay, we need this cream and that cream, and for this part we need this cream, and for this part that cream. At the end, what are you getting? In most cases, you are getting stress hormone, steroids. Because stress hormone, when body is releasing stress hormone, is because it is in more mortal death. And that means reparation and pointing to problematic things in the body is not necessary. So pain disappears. You can have sciatica. Okay, you can barely breathe, you cannot move. But if tiger shows up in the room, all of a sudden you jump and you run. How is that possible? Well, because your body released steroid, and the purpose of this is to release glucose from glycogen to give you boosting energy. And another purpose of it is to cut down all the pain on the body, all the warning signals, because your biggest threat, life threat, is this tiger. And if you cannot escape or fight, well, who cares about warning signals that something is wrong with your knee or with your spine? So now we know horses on a racetrack, when they were injured, but they had to finish, they have to go into race, they were given steroids. It started from there. And then, well, steroids work on this, let's put it. So we start pumping it in people with a variety of pain issues. And it is common. 3-month-old baby, I've seen people, doctor prescribing a steroid cream because the skin is inflamed and red. Now we are talking about licenses. I said often licenses have to go. You have licensed doctor that has the diploma and probably extra diploma on diploma on diploma because he's a skin specialist. And it is poisoning baby with steroids. Licenses have to go because there is no cure for idiotism. License does not take the idiot part out of you. If you're idiot, you're idiot. And license will not make you anything else. So, how do you deal with the redness? First, stop with all the creams. You want to moisturize your skin, use olive oil or coconut oil. And touch of it. Wet your skin and 1 drop of oil and you can oil the whole face. And start cleansing. You have to cleanse your body. There is no other way. You have to allow it to cleanse itself. You don't have to stimulate with toxic stuff to induce cleansing like local tribe healers do. But simply by supplying enough plasma, the body is programmed to cleanse. And it will go into cleanse immediately. You start increasing blood plasma by drinking plasma, drinking diluted seawater. Remember, salinity of the blood is approximately 9 grams of salt per liter of blood. Salinity of seawater is approximately 30 grams of salt per liter. So you dilute the water 3:1, 3 liters of distilled water or potable water with 1 liter of seawater and drink it. You are drinking same salinity that your blood has. We say, oh, salt is not good for the body. Salt is going to create hypertension and you are salty all the time. And your blood is not going to become saltier because you are drinking now water with salt. Because it is programmed to eliminate surplus. So it is going to retain the amount of minerals it is programmed to have, and any excess, it is going to shoot out. So your urine becomes saltier. Your excrement becomes saltier. Your sweat becomes saltier. But salinity of the blood remains the same. It may oscillate slightly during the process, but it remains the same. Especially when you are taking salt with water. So you are giving it right away what it needs to calibrate itself. It's different if you stuff your mouth with salt. You can then kill yourself. And I hear that in China, this is one of the common ways people commit suicide. You stuff yourself with pure salt, you are dehydrated, you don't have enough plasma, body cannot eliminate this, so you kill yourself immediately there. You can kill yourself the other way. Instead of stuffing yourself with salt, get distilled water and start drinking distilled water. Just drink, 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 drink. After you drink several liters of distilled water, because you start urinating, your body starts immediately eliminating the surplus of the water that it cannot hold, cannot convert into electroconductive plasma, so it shoots it out. So you start sweating, you start urinating a lot, you may get diarrhea, and then all of a sudden you die because you dilute the ions in your body, and you cut electric flow. Bingo. Always understand that you are an electronic robot. You run on frequencies and you are propelled through energy called electricity. And everything else, your body is electromagnetic field. That's what it is. It's a field that feeds itself, has perpetual motion. Number 8, laid down. Number 8. We also call it the toroidal field. This is why we don't need additional energy. The energy we get from a food, it's a joke. It is part of the programming that tells us, okay, you have to eat, otherwise your body shrinks and you die. Or you have to drink, otherwise you dehydrate and you die. You don't have to do any, you don't have to breathe, you don't have to do anything to live, to maintain this robot, if you can take down these programs. You just have to change the programs. And some people can do it through a lot of concentration and a lot of training. Yogis in India, they can do these things. Few, not all of them, because it requires a lot of faith and understanding. So, I believe that I have demonstrated what is rash coming from, why do we have rashes, and no matter what kind of rash you have, some people have problem with boils. What is boil? Same thing, only accumulated in one area, one small area is affected with high toxicity, and it keeps coming. You squeeze the toxin out, the skin comes down, but most likely in the same area, maybe exactly the same spot or just next to it, you will have another boil. Where do they come? Usually where you heat the skin most. So it's going to be on your tush where you are sitting, because this is where you're rubbing all the time. This is where you're pressing. More heat is needed to keep it cool. More blood is needed to keep it cool. Okay. So this is where you have mostly all the boils. They can be out in armpits, scrotum area. Everything that is warmer than other parts has more blood going through, and your blood is toxic. More toxic is your blood, more toxins get there, they get stuck there, and they start causing problems. It's always toxicity. Everything that we call disease is nothing more than particular vibration that is being projected through our sensors and then become part of our so-called reality, dream state. That's our reality. And once when you understand, it's all about frequencies. It's all about vibration. Then you will understand how you can, with the brain, eliminate these things. Because brain can change vibration. Every different part of the brain vibrates differently. Energy comes from heart, goes into the brain, and then it's being broken like in a prism. The frequencies of light, depending on frequency, the angle shifts. And on the other side, you have different colors. So colors are representation of different frequencies. Coloring food. These colors, they are toxins. So more colorful food that you have artificially, these flakes, this stuff that you buy for children, with the green, pink, blue, these are all poisons of different frequencies. And they will affect different organs because every organ has different frequency. And this is why you may have problem only with one area on the skin, because that particular frequency is very similar to the frequency of the toxin in your body, and it gets attracted there. It exacerbates the area. This is how healers, quantum healers, this is how they heal people. Because they ask for the frequency to be changed, to be taken out or changed. You need minerals in the body, you can do it by sending a frequency. Because mineral is a frequency reproduced then through sensors of your body, is produced into visible field. But in a quantum field, it's just vibration. And everything that we see visible has its base in a quantum field, where it originates. Okay, we have to talk about this quantum stuff because otherwise you won't understand anything from when medbeds show up, when the new healing modalities show up. You will not understand it, what's going on. You have to understand it's all about frequency. We are in electromagnetic universe. The reality is electromagnetic. Or magnetoelectric, whatever. So, you have to absorb these things. And again, if you have a problem with rashes, you know, stop poisoning yourself with these creams that so-called skin specialist, dermatologist gives you, and start hydrating so your body can do the cleanse. It's programmed to do it. It will do it. It doesn't need any stimulation. Just give it plasma and it goes in action immediately. Of course, then you start releasing these toxins into the blood so they can be cleansed out, and then you start having problems, symptoms of toxic blood. So guidance is always good if you are chronically ill, because you are going to have stronger symptoms. during the phase of cleansing. And it's good to understand what's going on. So fear goes away because, again, fear drops your voltage, which makes your vibration easy to alter and shows you visible shifts as discoloration, as this and that. If you can raise your voltage, everything disappears, because as soon as you straighten your voltage, doesn't matter how toxic you are. If you can maintain your vibration correct, you will see yourself helping. So that's another aspect. Much to talk about. We can sit here for 2 days. Anyway, I hope you get the essence of what I'm talking about. And if not, there's plenty videos, and plenty, even better, at every end of every video, I have to mention this because people say, well, where can I find this and that? At the end of every video, there is a link to my site. And there you have a search window. You can just type in the word of your interest and articles. Probably 2,000 articles there. Every week I punch 2 articles out. You will find the answer. And if you don't, there is my email there. You can email me and I will try to explain it to you if I understand it. Nobody knows everything. I'm just awakening to this, same as anybody else. We are awakening to the truth. All this knowledge is my last 20 years. Before I knew that I knew nothing. And what I knew was not correct. That's why I left medicine and came back as an investigator and as a teacher. Okay, my friends, my family, love you. God bless you. Namaste.